Officers, he attacked me. I was just doing my job. That was the first thing the HOA president screamed when patrol cars rolled into my driveway, lights flashing against metal and glass. She pointed at me like I was already convicted. Pink blazer wrinkled, curly hair frizzed from panic, voice shaking with rehearsed outrage. The performance was loud, emotional, convincing if you hadn't seen what actually happened. Because none of this started today. I run a private woodworking shop on the edge of a suburban HOA development. Custom tables, cabinets, restored antiques, real work, real clients, real permits. My property predates the HOA by decades, and like I've told them repeatedly, I've never signed a single HOA agreement, not once. No dues, no authority, no jurisdiction. But entitlement doesn't respect paperwork. Before we go any further, tap like and subscribe if you enjoy real-life HOA karma stories, and drop a comment telling us what city or country you're watching from. I always want to know how far these stories travel. The problem started quietly. Tools moved, scrap wood missing, lights left on overnight. At first, I blamed myself. Long hours make anyone forgetful. But then I noticed my lock scratched. Not broken, tested. That's when I installed cameras. 2 nights later, motion alerts pinged my phone. I opened the feed expecting raccoons or teenagers. Instead, there she was. The HOA president. Pink blazer unmistakable even under floodlights, curly hair pulled back with a headband, clipboard tucked under one arm like a prop. She stood at my side gate, looking around, then jiggled the handle like she owned the place. When it didn't open, she climbed, awkwardly, carelessly, like rules had never applied to her body or balance. She dropped inside my workshop yard and walked straight to my lumber rack. No hesitation, no confusion. She selected planks like she was shopping, loading them into a rolling bin she'd brought from the HOA clubhouse. Expensive walnut, maple, stuff I special order. Then she left the same way she came, over the fence, vanishing back into the neighborhood like nothing happened. I watched the replay 3 times, then 5. Anger came later. First was clarity. I didn't confront her. I didn't post online. I didn't call the police. People like her thrive on noise. I wanted evidence, patterns, leverage. And arrogance always provides more if you let it. Over the next 2 weeks, she returned 4 times. Sometimes alone, sometimes with another board member keeping watch. Always confident, always bold, always stealing. Different outfits, same pink blazer energy. Clipboard include, as if cosplay made it legal. Right here, pause and comment. If someone from an HOA has ever tried to control property they don't own, I want to hear your story. I finally went to the HOA office. Clean lobby, fake plants, posters about community harmony. Her door was open and she was already mid-rant on the phone. I waited until she noticed me. I told her calmly that I had footage of her trespassing and removing materials from my workshop. She smiled, not nervous, amused. She said my shop created visual clutter and that the HOA had the right to reallocate unused resources. According to her, the lumber was sitting there anyway and would be better used for community projects. I reminded her that stealing is still stealing, even in a blazer. That's when she leaned back and said, "Do whatever you think you can do. I run this neighborhood." I left, and I kept recording. What she didn't know was that behind my workshop, near the older tool shed, the ground slopes sharply. I'd marked it for repairs months ago. Temporary barrier, warning tape, the works. Clearly visible, clearly avoidable. But confidence makes people careless, and Karen had started rushing. That morning I was watching the feed live, coffee untouched. She arrived earlier than usual, irritated, phone pressed to her ear. She loaded the bin faster than ever, heavier than before. On her way out, distracted and impatient, she went for the same fence jump she'd done before. Only this time she didn't clear the landing. Her foot slipped, her weight shifted, and she went down hard, straight onto the slope she'd ignored every warning about. She screamed. She screamed like the ground had personally betrayed her. On the monitor, the HOA president rolled onto her side, clutching her leg, pink blazer now smeared with dirt and sawdust. Her clipboard lay cracked a few feet away, papers fluttering uselessly. The confidence was gone instantly. No more authority voice, no more "I run this neighborhood," just panic, pain, and rage fighting for control. "Help! Somebody help me!" she yelled, looking around like the trees owed her assistance. I didn't celebrate. I didn't smirk. I grabbed my phone and called 911. I reported exactly what it was: a trespasser injured on my property. Location, condition, no accusations, no embellishment. Facts don't need drama. On camera, she tried to sit up and failed. Then came the blaming. First the ground, then the fence, then the unsafe conditions, then, inevitably, me. She spotted one of the cameras and pointed at it, screaming threats about lawsuits, inspections, fines, and permits she didn't have authority to enforce. Minutes later, sirens cut through the quiet. Red and blue lights washed over my workshop like a warning she could no longer ignore. The officers approached her first. She wasted no time. "He attacked me," she cried, voice cracking perfectly on cue. "I was inspecting an HOA violation, and he set a trap. This man is dangerous." One officer glanced at the slope, the tape, the posted warning sign. Then they turned to me. I said I had footage. Everything changed after that. Inside my workshop office, I pulled up the recordings, not just from today, from weeks, multiple angles, multiple dates, her climbing the fence, taking lumber, bringing equipment, leaving with stolen materials, laughing, talking on the phone, acting untouchable. The room went quiet, except for the sound of her own voice echoing from the speakers. "This is community property anyway. I'm allowed to do this. He won't do anything." The officers watched without interrupting. When the final clip ended, the fall, the scream, the collapse, one of them exhaled slowly. They went back outside. The HOA president was mid-sentence, rehearsing another version of events when the handcuffs came out. She lost it. She screamed that she was the HOA president, that she knew the mayor, that I was spying on her, that cameras were harassment, that she was the real victim. None of it mattered. Trespassing, theft, false statements, the words stacked up calmly, professionally, nothing like her accusations. As they helped her to her feet, she locked eyes with me, face twisted with disbelief. Not pain, betrayal, like the world had broken an agreement she thought existed. As the cruiser pulled away, her clipboard was left behind in the dirt. I shut the gate for the first time in hours. 3 days later, the retaliation came. A process server showed up with a lawsuit thick enough to qualify as fiction. According to her filing, my workshop was a known hazard, my cameras were intimidation, and her injuries were the direct result of malicious negligence. She demanded damages, medical costs, emotional distress, and an order forcing me to remove my fence entirely. She was still playing president. Court came faster than expected. She arrived dressed carefully this time, neutral colors, her arm in a sling, expression soft and wounded. She told the judge she was performing official HOA duties, protecting the community from unsafe structures when she was ambushed by dangerous terrain and an uncooperative landowner. Then my attorney played play. Every jump, every theft, every lie. The judge leaned forward, paused the video, asked her directly if she disputed its authenticity. She tried, weakly. It didn't work. Trespassing doesn't become inspection because you say it louder. Theft doesn't become service because you wear a blazer. Authority doesn't exist where deeds say they doesn't. Her case collapsed under 20 minutes. She was ordered to pay restitution for stolen materials, damages, emergency response costs, legal fees, and a fine for filing a frivolous lawsuit. The judge also recommended the HOA review its leadership immediately. Outside the courthouse, she avoided cameras this time. Within a week, the HOA announced her resignation. I filed for a restraining order. It was granted without hesitation. Life went quiet after that. The good kind of quiet. The kind where tools stay where you leave them, where work feels honest again, where fences do their job without being tested. The workshop thrived. Orders increased. Peace returned. And karma didn't need my help. It just waited for her to keep believing rules were optional. If you made it this far, hit like and subscribe for more real HOA karma stories. Do you think she got what she deserved, or did she get off easy? Drop your take in the comments.